Good morning, crochet friends. So clearly I am not in my tiny cabin. I am in my sister's house in Chicago. So this is going to be a loaded video. So grab your hooks and yarn and get settled because I have got a lot to talk about. All right, so why am I in Chicago? Why am I not in my tiny cabin or with my husband in Kansas City? That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked. I will show you all of my whips in a minute. I've got my whip bag here with all of my lovely projects. But first, so if you watched my last vlog, you know that my uncle passed away just a couple days before Christmas. We just had his services last week. They were not able to do the autopsy until after Christmas, and then we couldn't even have the services until after the first of the year. So we just had his services last week, and you guys, it was the craziest week. I had family in from out of town, which was really nice. It was nice to see them under the circumstances. You know, they weren't great circumstances, you know, but I always enjoy, we're a very, very close family. So I always enjoy seeing my family and spending time with them. But just a few days before my uncle's service, we get the call that my husband's uncle also passed. So it was a week. It was just a week. I don't know what else to say about it other than it was emotional and it was chaotic and but it was wonderful at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense, but my sister just got kittens like I don't even know, in the fall. They're adorable, but they're little troublemakers. So just bear with me. So my sister and I had planned for me to just drive back with her. One, so she just had somebody, it's like a 10.5-hour drive. So one, so she had somebody to ride with, but also I've been planning to go spend January with my husband in Kansas City anyways. So we just decided that I would ride with her out to Illinois, and then I would rent a car and go the rest of the way to Kansas City from there. So there was a snowstorm the night before we were supposed to leave New York State, and we did still leave only because we were going to be driving away from it anyway, so it was going to be okay, and we did arrive. We did indeed arrive in Illinois safe and sound. However, the Midwest was about to experience some snowstorms of its own, and it did. Not as bad here in Illinois, but Missouri and Kansas got hit pretty hard, and it was just impossible for me to travel. So we just decided that I would just stay here until it all blows over. And there were also complications with getting a rental car. You guys, like, why is it so difficult? Is it just certain companies that are difficult? I don't want to say the name of the company, but it's a pretty big one. But we explored our options with other companies, and we had problems with them also. So anyways, we have a plan. What are we on now? Plan C, plan D. So I am supposed to be leaving Illinois here in probably another, what's today, Wednesday? I think we're going to try to leave on Friday. Saturday at the latest. But listen, I'm never going to complain about spending time with my sister. I always love coming out here and visiting with her. And of course, as you guys know, I brought all of the yarn. My bag of whips, I brought a whole other bag of yarn plus a tub. Yes, guys, an entire tub of yarn. I think there's like 20 skeins in there. And then I brought this pillow as well because I do have a pattern that I'm going to be writing up and making really soon for that. So let me show you some of the things that I have been working on here. Oh man, my crochet hook just snagged my thing. All right, so if you remember in my previous vlog, I talked about doing monthly themes, or at least I think I talked about doing monthly themes, and the theme for January is the arrow stitch. I am running a little behind just because of everything that's gone on this month so far, and it's really kind of knocked me back a little bit, but it's okay. We're just gonna keep forging ahead. So in my last vlog, I showed you with all that Hue and Me yarn that I got from Joanne, I was making a blanket, and I do not have the finished blanket with me. That is actually back in New York. But here are some photos of that finished blanket. It turned out so good. I am absolutely in love with how this blanket turned out. It's nice and soft and squishy and thick and chunky and all of the things that you want in a crochet blanket. Now I'm working on an arrow stitch bag. So this is a bag for my laptop or, you know, whatever, something, it's a bag. I only have one handle though. I still have to put the handle on this side. I have, do you mind? I'm trying to show these people this. All right, so this is the second bag handle. I just have to, the reason I have not finished up this handle yet is because, excuse me. Do you see this? Do you see it? You're gonna snag my stuff. So the reason I have not attached this to the bag yet is simply because I want to film a tutorial for just the handle. I mean, I'm going to do a whole tutorial on the bag itself, but I wanted to do a tutorial on just the handles. Excuse me. So here's the bag. So you are a problem. Anyways, here's the bag so far. What do you guys think? I actually really like how it's turned out so far. All right, so next up is a project that I have not quite finished yet. It is a pocket scarf, and I ran out of yarn. And I've already checked the Joann, all the Joann stores in this area, and none of them have this yarn. This is the Lion brand Respun, thick and quick. And this is gonna be a pocket scarf. So I've got, let me see if I can show you. We've got some nice ridges here, knit look ridges, and then you've got the arrow stitch in the center, and then I'm gonna have more. I just have to finish the last, I think, row and a half on the top there. I'm gonna try to show you how this will look. Let me just adjust this a little bit. So this is what the scarf looks like. As you can see, I left this part plain because this is where the pockets are gonna go. So you'll have the pockets here. You can also wrap it around. There's also enough room, at least for me, to wrap it around, and you can still put your hands in the pockets. What I think I'm gonna do for this is I'm gonna make the pocket, but I'm gonna have one row of just the arrow stitch. I feel like that doesn't make sense when I say it, but in my head it makes sense. I'm actually gonna keep this scarf on for a little bit. Not because I'm cold, but just because it's like, it's just super comfy, you guys. And this yarn, if you have never felt how soft this Lion brand Respun is, I'm telling you what. All right, so the next thing that I have been working on are these fingerless gloves, also with arrow stitch. Oh, can you see that? So I wanted to do just one singular row of the arrow stitch. This is the left hand glove. I have the right hand one almost made. Now I made this with worsted weight. This scarf is super bulky weight yarn, and I kind of want to do like matching. I want to make these gloves out of this yarn so it's a matching set, but I don't know, you tell me. I have the right hand one here. I haven't sewn it together yet, but this is the one for the right hand, but this is the left hand glove. And yeah, I just thought it would be a pretty set with the matching arrow stitch pattern. But again, I can't work on these fingerless gloves, or I can't make these in this yarn because they don't have it available in these stores. So I have to wait till I get to Kansas City. I checked our store out there and they do have this exact color in stock. So I'll be able to finish up this scarf and then work up a pair of these fingerless gloves in this yarn. I think it's gonna be a really, really pretty set. So now I need to show you the yarn that I brought with me in the tote. It's all actually, most of it is that Hue and Me that I bought at that sale at Joann the day after Christmas. And I wanna make a blanket with it, but I need to like talk through how those colors are gonna go. So let me go get that, I'll be right back. All right, so hopefully you can see this okay. So these are the colors that I want to make my blanket out of. So I'd like this to be the main color, and then these two colors would be the accent colors. Can you see it okay in the frame? So I've got to think about how I want this all to look. I have 4 skeins of this, and I would like to make a matching pillow as well if I have enough. And I'm just now noticing that I brought this yarn with me. Why did I bring this yarn with me? This color here, should I do all 4 of these? Or should I just do the 3? I kind of like it with just the 3. I like a very warm, dark blanket, but maybe you have a different idea. Now, also for this blanket, I do want to incorporate the Harvest Crochet Stitch. It's basically a variation of the puff stitch, and I did actually, if you were a part of my Christmas Advent crochet long, there was a day that we did a practice swatch for the Harvest Crochet Stitch, and I think that would look really pretty with these colors. So it's just a matter of me now laying them all out and playing around and seeing how I want them all to fit together. So I'm still sitting here on the floor trying to figure out this color scheme, but now, see, now my brain is like going a million miles an hour, and I'm wondering, should I crochet the blanket traditionally, right, from like horizontally from bottom to top, or should I do like strips, vertical strips of color, like, you know, one strip in this color, another strip in this color, right, and then, you know, another strip in the other color, with, you know, and not just one strip of this, like I'm saying, like, you know, alternating all 3 colors all the way across, right? And then doing the harvest stitch vertical. Well, I mean, the harvest stitch would be vertical anyways. Does that even make sense, what I'm saying? Yeah, so like how bad would that annoy people if you crocheted strips? I think that's what I'm gonna do. I really like that idea, because then you can put, like, at the bottom of each strip, you can put a tassel, like, you know, the green strip would have a green tassel on the bottom. I think that would look really pretty. Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. All right, so my sister just texted me and asked me if I can get some Alfredo sauce started. So I need to go raid her refrigerator and see what kind of ingredients I have to work with. Y'all, this cat is now asleep in my whip bag. I have to show you. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so I did take a break to make that fettuccine Alfredo for my sister, but that's all done, and it's in the fridge for her and her husband when they both get home from work. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on, this blanket. This is the first color that I'm going to work with. And again, this is the Hue and Me from Lion Brand. This is one of my favorite yarns ever, like on the face of the planet. So I've got my project bag here with all of my little hooks. I have this cute little front pocket. This is where I store all of my hooks. I think normally when I use this yarn, I use my M hook, which is a, what is this? 8mm, 8mm hook. This is one of the streamline hooks from Furls. So I'm gonna start working on my first long, I don't know what to call it, a strip? First long strip. So I did just get off the phone with my sister, and it looks like I will be getting out of here on Saturday, so I will be here for a few more days, which that's always fine because I always like spending time with my sister. But it will be nice to finally get back to my Kansas home and spend some time with my husband. For those of you that don't know, so on my last vlog, I had a lot of people that said that they were new, that like that was the first video they'd ever seen of me. So for anybody that doesn't know, my husband and I kind of reside in 2 states. Our home state is upstate New York, but my husband is working right now in Kansas City. So we have a camper out there where he lives full-time in our camper. And then we have our tiny cabin in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes region. And that is where I live full-time. And I just, because I work from home, so I travel back and forth. I travel back and forth to go see him since he can't really travel. The good news is in July of this year, he will be able to transfer up to upstate New York, and we will never have to go to Kansas ever again. So that will be really nice. We won't have to do all this back and forth craziness. It'll just be nice to have everything all in one spot. Should I be doing, I just said that I was going to work this in strips. So look at this. I just made a whole chain, and it doesn't need to be, I can't talk in crochet. I don't even know how many chains I'm supposed to be making, actually. All right, so I'm thinking that this is a good width for each strip of the blanket. Although I'm looking at this, I don't know if I was supposed to chain 2 or chain 1 here, this little place. I might have only had to chain 1. I gotta go back and look at my tutorial because I can't remember. But yeah, I'm thinking this is a good width. And then I gotta measure this. Where's my measuring tape? I don't even have my measuring tape with me. How did, it must be in one of my other bags because I know I have a measuring tape with me, but 7 inches maybe? Does that look like 7 inches? So if we do like 7, so if I make 6 of these, that would be 42 inches across, and that's plenty. So then I just got to figure out how many rows this way I'm going to do. Yeah. I really do have to film a tutorial today. I have to film 2 tutorials, and I'm just not in the mood to do any tutorials today. You know what? Tomorrow's a new day. I could just film them tomorrow. All right, so I did just look at my tutorial, and I couldn't find it. It was under my project bag. So I was right that this is supposed to be a chain 2 space. I don't know why this won't focus. This is supposed to be a chain 2 space here, which is what I did, but I'm thinking that I don't want it to be a chain 2 space. Let me see. Hold on. This yarn is very bulky, so I'm thinking maybe just a chain 1 space is all that's needed. I'm gonna do another row just to see how it turns out, but I think that'll be fine. So with the chain 1 space, this is what it looks like, and I actually like that better. But let's do this next row and see. So this is what it's looking like with the chain 1 space. And I do like that better, but now I don't like the size of this hook. So I'm thinking I need a smaller hook. I don't have them organized in here, but like I don't have like from smallest to largest. I kind of threw them all in here before my trip. Ooh, but maybe a K. Do you think a K? How do I have 2 Ks. So I don't know if you can see, but this is actually a pretty significant difference between these two. So I'm gonna give this a try and see. Frog this, start over with a smaller hook and see how this works. Okay, so this hook definitely does tighten up my work quite a bit. It also shortens this little piece as well, but that's okay because I can make as many of these strips as I need to make my blanket as wide as I want it to be. So that's okay. And I did go back to the chain 2 space. I did chain 2 that time around. So I'm gonna put another row on and see if I still like the way that this looks. Yeah, okay, I gotta say, I really like the way that this looks a lot better than when I was using this hook, the 8mm. So I think we're gonna go with the 5.5mm hook for this blanket.